Hi, my name's Andrew-Beale. I'm going to be continuing my Jazz UK series. I'm going to be looking at a case study of Kamaal Williams. I'm going to be looking at some of the record labels he has worked with before and one of his own. I'll be looking at all the relationships between these people and the industry influence on the modern jazz scene in the UK. I'll then round off the whole presentation with a conclusion, looking at what the genre looks like in the future and how the industry has affected it. So Kamaal Williams, his real name is Henry Wu, and he was born in Peckham, London. He has a Taiwanese mother and a British father. He grew up listening to lots of house, funk, jazz, garage and grime. His father influenced his jazz interest. And started his music career in 2008. This started with generally making house music, breakbeat, and garage. And then one of his proper debut releases was in 2018, The Return. This got to the 63rd position in the UK charts. The second person I'm looking at is someone called Gilles Peterson, who runs a record label called Brownswood. And this started in 2006 in London. He also runs Worldwide FM, and the roster includes Yusuf Kamaal, which is Kamaal Williams and Yusuf Days, and Jose James, Anushka, Shabaka, and the Ancestors. So it's a really wide sort of plethora of genres and artists, and I think it resembles Gilles Peterson's sort of taste in music, which is very, very good. The second record label I'm looking at, which is Kamaal Williams, is Black Focus, and this is his own, and it has Monsieur Brown and both his aliases on it. This was started in 2017 in September and is based in London, UK. The 22A label / collective started in the end of 2013. And it's got a very, very simple business model, and it tends to stay musician-led and really, really just carry on coining in on that really, really simple but effective business model. So here's a quote from Tenderlonius, who was part of starting it, and this quote is, "I get the money, I put the record out, people buy it, I get the money back and do it again." So this really resembles the process behind their business. And they started out with only vinyl, so it kind of had this proper exclusivity to it all. Their first record shop they kind of got a deal with was called Soho Institution. This facilitated the EPs on Bandcamp, and it had sort of breakbeat, groove, sort of centered, sampled music. Fairly interesting, especially to put on vinyl. And this was a part of an emerging South London scene, which, it really integrated quite well, and they're still doing really amazing stuff there, especially with Ruby Rushton. This was originally started with Mo Colours, Gene Besser, Renegald Omas, Alb Dobson Jr. and Henry Wu. So there's a link of brothers in there and lots of friendship. So their company culture is very, very interesting because it's all very tightly woven, and everyone is very everything's based on trust. So the first relationship I'm looking at is Kamaal Williams' relationship with Brownwood Records. This was initially started after they did their performance at Worldwide Awards in 2016. This led to the exclusive single agreement for Black Focus, which was a big album with Yusuf Days, which did really, really well. And of course, because Gilles Peterson was involved with this record label, he had lots of ties to the radio industry in the UK, so they had lots of opportunities on Radio 6, Worldwide FM, and the general PR for the release was fairly impressive, especially with the team they had. It wasn't the biggest team. And then in return from Brownswood Records exploiting the music, they get a cut of the mechanical royalties. So the second relationship I'm looking at is Kamaal Williams with Black Focus Records. Obviously, this is very small because Kamaal Williams created this record label, and it enables him to kind of have this platform to put his music on, and put other artists he believes in. The second slide, Kamaal Williams and 22 Records. So this is something I was mentioning earlier, that he assisted with the creation of this record label and collective, and he still releases music through them and collaborates with the roster. They then supply an income from the releases and in charge of distribution, especially when it comes to physical copies of the music. This record label provides a very small team, as it is musician-led, so it's not very focused on multiple departments. I mean, I'd like to now talk about the industry influence on the genre. So the popularity in dance music and culture definitely encouraged the genres in jazz, especially acid jazz and all these modern jazz forms. So the UK has this very unique sound because there's a complete melting pot in London, and there's lots of different cultures clashing together and making these incredible sort of blends of music. You had other influences from the industry were the sort of do-it-yourself approach. So the pre-do-it-yourself is sort of a traditional sense. So like having your own record label, doing everything, doing all your own packaging. And then what I mean by post-DIY is that it is doing it yourself, but you have a lot more services to help you do it yourself. And this can consist of to order merchandise companies, so you don't have to have stock boxes put in your room and things like that. So this is definitely influenced the genre, because you had all these companies selling their own vinyl, doing everything themselves, but now they can do it even better with more services nowadays. So that was a major influence from the industry. The second is more of an approach to your fan, so a direct-to-fan strategy. This includes Bandcamp and social media. So all these record labels and artists are on Bandcamp because it's such a great way to monetize your music and sell your merch at the same time. And you can both supply lossless files, and you can stream the songs if you want to, but it's not really sorted for that. So the social media aspects, they're all very, very active on social media, especially Instagram, like everyone. But that's definitely an industry influence, especially when it comes to marketing and promotion. There's been a large ability to control large amounts of your business. So what I mean by this is the people like Kamaal Williams now have all this power and control to have their own business and don't need to rely on as many larger companies, which I think is really, really beneficial for these small niche genres. So in conclusion, this genre is not the most listened to, definitely not. It's not even in the top 10 in the world, so it's definitely growing, I would say. In the UK especially, there's an incredible buzz around this sort of London UK jazz sound, and it's sort of seeping into where commercial companies like major record labels are creating these collaborations, especially the Tom Misch with Jordan Rakei, which is an incredible. There was some incredible music out of that, and Loyal Khanna's collaboration with Alpha Mist. So there's been lots of really good commercial collaborations with these small jazz artists, and I think it's really going to help the genre out. And as soon as the audiences grow for this genre, I think the venues are going to get larger because they need to house the people, and it means there's just going to be this live culture of more and more jazz bands being sort of put into the limelight, which I think is really, really crucial. I mean, you could relate this to, as well, the sort of need for authenticity nowadays, especially in commercial music. It's taking a turn. You're seeing more minimal and natural production being used. So I think this really suits the genre as well. The sound will stay fresh. I think it will constantly evolve because we have these constant subgenres popping up and influencing other subgenres. And there's this really, really incredible network where it sort of indirectly influences each other. So I think we're going to have lots of different sounds coming out of jazz. And I think the audiences will get younger because the more music that gets into the mainstream, the more it is open to younger people. And I think making sure this genre stays open and really, really welcoming to these people, I think it will really benefit them. So here are some references that I used to get all this data. If you want to pursue the research further, do just click on the links or just copy them down now. Thank you for listening. I hope you found this informative, and I really enjoyed making this.